So my screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, so empathy, when we say some echo is there. Usually, I conduct a lot of training program, and design thinking is one of my favorite area. And I'm really happy that I'm going to focus only on that first element of design thinking, that is empathy. And empathy is we can talk in many different angles. So here in this session, we are going to see it in different angle, from the solution point of view, from an organization level, right? If you ask an IT company or a product manufacturing company, how they bring that empathy in their solution which they are going to build. That is one angle. Another one is, as a employee working in a company, is it really important for us to have empathy? And if so, right, how much it is important nowadays? So we are going to discuss in that particular angle. So we'll be focusing on design thinking initially, not too much, just the stages of design thinking. And then we'll get into this empathy. Then the difference between in apathy, empathy, sympathy, right? So those things we'll touch upon it. Then we'll discuss about what are the things we can do, or how we can improvise the empathy part in our workplace. And then how this empathy is playing in a detailed role, or impactful in modern day solution. And we'll be discussing some of the case studies. We'll right end of the session, we'll discuss some of that. I'll show you some of the solutions. You can let us, we can discuss on it whether that particular solution is having empathy in it or not. Okay, so if it is not, if that product is not coming with an empathy, then will it really attractive to the users or not? And in that angle, we'll try to discuss some more product, or the deliverables what we prepare as part of empathy stage. Okay. So with this, I'm right getting this, and if any questions, you can feel free to stop me and you can ask me. It's no need to wait until the QA. But anyway, we have a separate QA. It's up to you, right? If you want, you can stop me and you can ask any questions. Okay. So nowadays in the modern one, right, we have a lot of problems, right? We need to find a solution for those problems. And this is one of the favorite quote for me from Albert Einstein. We cannot solve the problems we have created with the same thinking we used in creating them. So we need to change the perspective, change it from a different angle, and then we have to look into that from the different eyes to solve the problem. So when we are, or for example, if you see this, the problem, one of the important problem which we are having is global warming, right? And then the climate change. So this is a problem of our industrialization, which we did some 20, 25 years back without thinking too much from the, or most of the solution not constructed from the empathy angle. We just wanted a solution, and the companies wanted a profit, maximize the profit. So most of the solutions which are being developed in those time period are out of empathy. So just want to make a profit instead of thinking any other species in this earth, or any other human beings, including that, right? So that's where we end up with many wars, and then many other problems. So if we want to solve those problems, we need to think from the different angle, and that is where this design thinking coming into picture. Okay. So if you hope it has been already addressed by you, right? So you can type in chat window from your point of view, what is the design thinking? And type in chat window. I mean, your point of view, right? What is design thinking? You can unmute, you can speak, professors. From your point of view, what is design thinking? Hope the first session would have addressed on this, but anyway, just asking right from your perspective on design thinking. Okay, so I got a reply from Professor Vandita. Design thinking, how to solve a problem? Yes, how to solve a problem. How data or information flows, and yes, way of perception of problem. Okay, it's from Ekta Dali. Okay, question, answers from Keshamurthy. Innovative way of finding solution. Yes. Yes, so it's a kind of innovation. We are but what is that major part is missing over here? One of the important part is missing here in most of your solutions. That's the answer which you are giving here.
So
Yes.
yes, would like to say something about design thinking. It refers to the cognitive, strategic, and practical process by which the design concepts are developed.
Yes, Professor. We can simply say that, right, or we can put in another way. Design thinking is from the human-centered approach. That's very important. We are trying to give a solution from the user point of view. If you see, right, even our curriculum nowadays, we are changing towards learner-centric curriculum, right? Like that's itself, approaching it differently from the receiver point of view or from the beneficiary point of view. So here, the solutions what we are going to provide for the problem from the human-centered approach are that for whom we are going to give the solution from their point of view, try to understand, and then we give the solution. That is where we call it as a design thinking approach.
Okay, so we being into teaching industry, so over here the end user would be a student most probably.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So now when you are giving a solutions for the education or your curriculum, all these things, we need to think from the user point of view. That is our student point of view. How we are going to address this problem for the students by providing a different solution. It could be anything. Right, right, if you take this particular situation, that virtual classroom, so you would have faced n number of problems, right, from the faculty point of view as well as from the student point of view. If you really want to get some solutions for that problem, we need to think from their point of view. So without, for example, if you want to address that problem faced by the faculty, without thinking from the faculty point of view, it is too difficult to give a solution for that one. Right, how we can help faculty in delivering a session without any issues or having, right, much less problems what we have currently. So in that way, right, for to whom we are addressing, right, from their point of view, we try to solve the problem. And what is very important is not every problem is a direct one, or not every problem is easy to solve. Sometimes it's a kind of complex one. So we that's why we can't go with a kind of linear process model to solve the problem. So we go with the design thinking, which is a non-linear process in general. So right, we have various stages. So hope you have seen this already. Just these are the 5 important stages which we have. Right. Sorry. So we have, right, 5 different stages here. Are empathize, define, ideate, and prototype, then test. So here it is a non-linear because we can come back and then we can reiterate on this process again. Okay, so first one is empathize to help define the problem. This is where we are going to focus. That's right, how that empathy is going to play the role in getting that problem statement properly. That is exact problem statement from the user point of view. Okay, and then the remaining stage. So at the end of this design thinking, when we are completing this design thinking approach, we'll end up with a solution which is more usable or more user friendly. That is what been expected. So we have various stages in this part. So once we know this, problems identified, then we can define it, and those whatever that point defined, we can cross verify or we can test it when you are giving the solution. So these are the stage we usually follow in our a design thinking process. Okay. Now, as already mentioned, right, there are a lot of problems which are complex in nature. We call it as a WICT problems. WICT means, right, completely complex thing. It's kind of right. You don't know what is the exact reason it's happening. Begin. We'll see some example, in upcoming slide. But these WICT problems, if you want to solve, then we can't go with a normal way where we can map our Albert Einstein quote as well. So what is this WICT problem? WICT problem is a difficult or impossible to solve, right? Or it's kind of an incomplete or contradictory. For example, if you take many cases, plastic consumption. So we know that Earth is really it's plastic is affecting a lot our globe, but still we don't know where to put a full stop, right? Where we can stop using that plastic bags and cover. We write how to stop it because plastic also needed in some cases, but not all the cases. So where we can draw the line, or how we can insist that behavior from the all the people to not to throw the plastic bags and away instead of that a safety way of collecting all the bags, and so that we are not putting that other species in the earth with the problem. If you recent survey which they took right under the sea, most of the sea animals have been affected by this polythene covers or plastic bags. So all those things, how we are going to solve it, it's really a difficult one. So where you need to think from the different angle, and then we need to get kind of socially aware people to follow that one. And also the solution which you're going to find should be easy for them to follow. So these are, we call it as a kind of an WICT problem where it's too difficult or impossible to have a solution. In that case, how we can go. So in those cases, design thinking is the best way of solving that particular problem. Okay. So shall I move forward? Any questions up to this?
Can I ask, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, regarding the plastic bags that you talked about, actually the thing is that partial information is the main criteria that because of which, that we are disposing of the plastic so much that plastic is bad and plastic should not be used, that if we are just disposing it off, we are not looking out that what the actual solution might be. If we stopped using all the plastics, then obviously it is going to go into the garbage drums or in the garbage grounds or into the seas. But in many countries, the policy is not to throw the plastic, but to collect it and reuse it. So just that, partial information, partial knowledge, partial knowing that this one is good. Like we say, if any particular food is very good for you, but then excessive of that or the under of that, both of them are bad. So I think that because of, if we do not do the proper analysis and proper solutions to be find out the half knowledge which we get through the social medias or through the televisions, I think that is the main reason that is we are not going for the right solutions.
Yeah, of course. So when we have that kind of, everybody knows, everybody agrees that plastic bag is bad, we should not use, but we don't know where to put a full stop or how to end it. That's every government is now working on it, and many social people are working on it with come with some proper solution. It should be right. If you're giving some solution which is difficult for the people to follow, then it won't work. So we need to have a kind of simple solution, which need to, from each country point of view, it will differ. I'm just giving this as an example, but there are many problems like that we have in society, right, where we need to find some way of solving those problems. So in those areas, this design thinking will definitely help us. So what is design thinking is not? That is another point we heard take. So what is not exactly design thinking? So by bringing some interactive design, if you take a computer application or a mobile application, by having an attractive screens or putting that right menus icons, which is not design thinking, which is not comes under the design thinking. And same way, right, giving an one solution to fit all kind of problem kind of one. If you suggest like a free size t-shirt, right, it can fit to any kind of person. Like in that way, we can't give a solution for design thinking. So design thinking actually addressing each and every set of people who are involved in that life cycle of the product. So it is not giving an a one size fits all solution. And also it is not only for designer. So if you take design thinking, the design thinking is for everyone. If you know each and every human being, right, who are living in, not only us, even animals, they think differently in some cases. So the point here is design thinking. We are already applying it in our life in many places, but without knowing that is the design thinking. And now the design thinking as an set up as a kind of process. So now if you are going to solve any problem from the from the industry point of view, or service industry or product industry, whatever it is, then we apply this non-linear process, and then we try to come with some better solutions from the human-centered approach or the user-centered approach. So that is what we are trying to reach over here. Okay. So now here the first stage what we are going to focus, which is our empathy. So the empathy, when we are seeing the problem using empathy, it's mapping up with the emotion of the receiver, the other side. We are wearing their shoes and looking the problem from their point of view, which means we are connecting to their emotion. When we are connecting to the emotion and we are giving the solution connected to their with their emotion, then it brings loyalty. If you take a lot of brands, still it is dominating because they produce product, or at least the advertisement they give initially, right, connect with the emotion. Even if you take a lot of advertisements coming in daily TV, but only right few advertisements will attract us, or we will look into this again, because those advertisements are connected to our emotion, right? Those advertisements we like to view it again or watch it again, or at least we want to change to some other channel. We at least we wait until that advertisement over, then we move it to some other channel, right, like that. So this emotion is very important. Whichever the product or whichever that person is connecting to our emotion, we like that person very much, or we like that product very much. So how we can bring this empathy, or how we can develop. So whenever we give a solution, even in our sessions, if you remember our your school days, if you remember, go back in your school days, and if you remember, we remember one or two teachers very close to our heart. Why? Because they're connected to our emotion, right? Right. Those teachers were deliver the session, right, with emotion, which they connected to all the audience, right? So even though we don't like all the teachers, but still we remember a few teachers who changed our career completely. Same way, even in our classroom, the students, those who are listening to our sessions or lectures, even though right most of students won't like us, but still some of them will be inspired with our words, with our sessions, that we don't know actually. So but they tell in some other occasion, yes, this is that, right, because of this faculty, I changed my career, I changed my life, like that. So that emotion plays an important role. So whenever in any part of your work, if you try to add that empathy as an element, right, then your way of seeing problem, your way of giving the solutions for the problem, or your way of interacting with people, everything will change. Okay. So in this part, how we can say empathy. So if you say the right, empathy by definition, we can say it's an intellectual identification with, if you see here, experience of the feeling, thoughts, or attitudes of another. This is what very important, the feeling, right? Experiencing of the feelings.
So, what is the difference between empathy and sympathy?
I'll come to that point. So let me come to that point. So now here, right, in the empathy, we use this term, right, feelings, thoughts, or attitudes of another, which means that now we do not have a kind of experience, but still we can able to understand their pain, or what is that problem there, or their joy. It need not be only the pain. It can be their joy, it can be their achievement, it can be their sorrow, their pain, or their problem, right? All those things, anything, if you're able to understand it from their point of view, then it would be different. So the people point of view is always differs. For example, you are walking on a road, right, and suddenly one person is beating another person, right, saying that how can you, right, how dare you, you can try to steal my purse from my pocket, like that. He is shouting, and then started beating that other person. So now when this is happening on the road, on the street, the people, those who are move around, will react differently, right? So some person will join together that the person who is beating, and they start beating that person very hardly, right? How you can do this like that? And there is another set of people will ignore, and then they'll move away. Okay, why we need to get into this problem? We'll just they'll walk away from that one. Whereas that others people will come and say that, right? So we always beat these kind of small thefts or small thieves, but is there anyone who is going to beat the politicians or those people who are making laundering money? So we give them without, right, no punishment. Then there are some people will come and say, right, we'll think from that other person point of view, right, and they'll try to protect that person who's been beaten, right? So we'll say, so please stop, don't hit his, right? It's not our right to hit this person. If he stole your money, then complain to the police why you are beating them. We don't know why why he did it, or at least, right, we don't have that right to beat someone. So either someone will interfere. So if you take any event in our life, we'll react differently based on our experience, based on how we understand the other person's problem, and how we work as a society, the society impact, right? So how many people are there supporting that event? Based on that, we'll change our stance. There are some people, if many people are supporting that thief, then they will change their stance. If there is other side, then they change the stance accordingly. But the empathy is, without doing all these things from the from the person who is been a right, from the thief point of view, or the person who lost the purse, right? If you think from their point of view, you might able to understand what could be their pain and how we can support on that particular part. So we'll see that, right, the empathy, and also before we proceed further, we'll also discuss about that sympathy. So there is a small difference between that empathy and sympathy. So sympathy is also feeling of sorrow, pity, right, misfortune for others, but it is not getting through the other person's one. Just it's a kind of words will come directly, but that the other party won't felt with that particular sympathy or with their words. If they are moved with that one, it's called empathy. So the way we tell, or the way we listen to that person, that is more important. So empathy is out of listening. If we listen properly, then we can able to use words appropriately, which will move them slightly. There is a small difference only. So empathy is taking their part, and then we are putting our eyes over there, or your thoughts over there. So it's a kind of evolving, right? Sympathy is very basic, and then from that, or we can say empathy is understanding our position, our situation, also understanding the opposite person's position, and then supporting that person to come out of their pain, or to join with that person to give that enjoyment. For example, sometime some person will be giving some party, why you are giving party, then that person may give some reason, right? If you feel that that is a lame reason, then you may not enjoy, or you may not appreciate person why he is giving that party. But instead of that, if you think from that person point of view, then you might think, yes, this is a very interesting, important one. As there is nothing wrong in celebrating this, then we support that other person's enjoyment, and that will completely change. So I can you can watch this video. I'm sharing this link later to get some more information on it. Just a minute. Not now. You can watch this later. I'm just sharing the link and have a look at it. So now we'll see a kind of a simple example on this particular part. So if you see this diagram, right? So here, right, you see a person who is in the quicksand. And by seeing that person, if you have got sympathy, what will happen is you will be involved too much without understanding any other one. You will jump into that one. You'll try to save that person, so which will cost both your life, right? But in the case of empathy, you understand the situation from their point. Yes, he fell into that quicksand, and then now you are outside and you need to save him, but also you need to save your life. So which means that you are more aware of the situation, and then you are helping that person. And apathy is completely out of that one. Or from the psychological point of view, apathy is ignoring that situation or not focusing on it for various reasons. Could be anything. By default, all are empathy. If you take right by birth, each and every human being is having empathy. By birth, everyone is having empathy. But our experience when we grow as a child and then when we know all these years, our experience, right, which will make all the different thinking. For example, you see, some road accident, right, and then two-wheeler, right, got accident, and then the driver got injured. That so now what will happen is, so how we are going to react to that situation? You are in front of your bike, got that accident. How you are going to react? You are going to react based on your experience, right? In the earlier attempt, if you try to help someone and then you put yourself in danger, or you had some problem because of that, then you might try to escape from the situation without trying to help that person. So that is apathy. Apathy is not most of the times from our experience or the bad experience or from our childhood issues, all those things which will make us to act as an apathy. But most of the time we'll have a sympathy is not putting ourselves in trouble, putting everybody into trouble. That is, for example, if you are walking onto that riverside and one person is struggling, somebody, some way he fell into that river and he is unable to swim. So now what will happen is, by seeing it, so if you are more sympathetic, what will happen is without understanding that what is happening, you will jump into that one. Then only you'll realize that you also don't know swimming. Then it's going to be a problem, right? So if it is empathy, you know that you don't know the swimming, but also you know the problem of the other person. Then you will you shout as much as possible to get someone attention. So with that person's help, you can save the other guy. So like that, the empathy can be put in differently. That is, you need to feel from the other's point of view. Also, you should know what is that work we are having, or what is that, or where we are standing now. From there, how we are going to help the other person. Okay. So if you see this, a simple picture for the understanding, if someone, your loved ones, a father or mother, someone, deceased, so you can send a flower, right? So it's a sympathetic gesture, actually speaking. So because you don't know, right, how to console, but you really sympathy about that particular incident, then you may send flower. Doesn't mean that we should not send flower like that when we say empathy, but that is the way we usually address like that. But instead of that, if you sit with that person and then try to console it, feeling their pain, and then getting them, that comes under the empathy. That is one step back, right? We are not going to get trapped with that, but actually we are understand that their pain. Then we try to give the emotional level support, so that the other person won't feel in that way. Right now, I'm left out, I'm alone. So those feelings is really dangerous. If you, most of the problem will come when anybody feels that I am alone in this problem, because by default, the human beings are social animals. Social animals means we live as a society, we live together. So so definitely living alone or being alone is a kind of a dangerous part for any human being. So even in any problem, if no one is there in your side, you will be, you will be felt alone. Then it's a real dangerous psychologically. So in that angle, right, the empathy is a little bit different from sympathy. Okay, and you can give something like this. So you may have an experience. So if you have an experience, then you can able to share it. But may not be that always you need to have an experience, but you can feel that other person's pain by losing someone very close to you, and then you can use the word exactly properly. Most of the time, right, when we are consoling other people, try this from the psychology point of view. Try to avoid the word. At least you have this. Try to use that word at least. That will trigger the negative angle, and then other person might not give their concerns to you. So if we don't listen properly, then we will try to give a solution. So we'll address this in upcoming one. So that will lead to the other problems. Okay.
Sir, doubt.
The difference here, let me complete, Professor, then we can see. So by putting this together, your empathy, sympathy, you can see the experience, the feeling, right? And then we try to one, your understanding and then suffering from other, then we do it accordingly. That is a different one. So you may have a personal similar experience or may not, but you need to think from your personal point of view. If you lose your mother, father, how will you feel, or how will you, what would be your emotion on that particular part? Whereas sympathy is kind of a recognition, and then we do it accordingly. Okay, so here in design thinking, what we try to do is, so we are considering the word understanding the proper people whom we are designing solution for doing some that can help them. So we are going to provide a solution by understanding and experiencing their problem from their point, and then coming with a solution which can help them. And from the company point of view or from the service provider point of view. So by providing that solution, how much profit we can make? That is the second one. But before that, the solutions which you're going to make for the people, which is really going to helpful or not. Okay. So someone is asking some question, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
actually, I wanted to know that, now at times, if you talk to a younger generation, they are, if we talk to them, then they tell us that, yes, they know that what the problem the parents are facing or what the other person's feelings are. They say that, yes, they are aware of it, but still they are afraid to face the situation. So that doesn't comes in sympathy, that doesn't comes in empathy, and they are having feeling and they are not that they are aloof to that, so that doesn't comes in apathy also. So what is that and how that should be tackled?
Professor, actually, this is a very important one, but I think if I address that one, then we'll be out of this topic. But anyway, I'm just giving you, right? Most of the problems, if you want to solve the problem of your students or any youngsters, other than your relative or your not your blood relations, then your approach could be something different. But if you are going to solve the problem of your blood relations, that's going to be different. That is very fundamentally we need to think, because when you're trying to solve the problem of a blood relation, what will happen is they will, they need to trust us, which means they know our entire life. So in which are the occasions, how we supported, how we helped that person, based on that only, they're going to trust us or they're going to believe our words. So in that case, even though, we have a better solutions and it's good for that particular problem, they may not choose to follow because of the earlier experience with us, right? They may not felt comfortable, or they may not feel, okay, how I can trust this person, kind of things will come easily. So addressing a blood relation on these kind of things will be different. Addressing something your student or someone, right, your colleague or your friend, that would be different, something different. Because if you are speaking to your friend or your colleague, within that known duration, how much supported that person, based on that, because without trust or without credibility, we can't address this kind of emotion level problems. Or we can say empathy will be there when we are which more connected to the other receiver. We are able to connect with the other person. Then empathy we can able to develop easily. If you are unable to connect with the other person, then it will stop at the sympathy level. It won't proceed further. So I'll address some of the things, but if from the psychologist point of view, it is it is a different problem. We need to understand many things from the if it is especially teens. We have to be real careful, and we need to listen to them more. That is what more important. And most of the time, if you are trying to speak with a boy or girl, it makes all different. For example, in general, from the psychology point of view, I hope you would have read a book on, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I hope if you read the book, then you will understand that. Otherwise, you try to read that book to understand how men and women different in thinking and from solving a problem.
My point is that if we, in a particular situation, how you're going to react, that coverage is not 100% if you're talking about sympathy, empathy, and apathy. That means 100% coverage is not there. Some cases are there which lie outside of the sympathy, empathy, and apathy, right?
So here we can't put it in generals, right? For example, if I'm going to console my friend, then definitely I will try to take that empathy. Our brain will tell us what stage we have to take. Suppose imagine that my house owner is died for some from something happened and he died. Now in that case, will it my empathy will come for that, in that case, it will be kind of different because we have a barrier ourselves, right? We will think, okay, so it's a house owner, then why I have to, take into that kind of level. We'll go there, we'll give some flowers, and then we show our sympathy. And we'll be, look sad in that event occasion. We really sad actually, not only acting. It's about really sad that person really died, and then we come out of that. So most of the places we assume or we think that this is our status, this is our position, and then accordingly we take. So for example, if I'm walking on the road and I see someone is right morning walk and someone is died there, and then that nearby grass someone is body is there, how I'm going to react, it is completely situation based. If that person is very close to me, I will act differently. If that person is different to me, I will act different. Suppose that person is a known rowdy in that area, I will act differently, right? So it's really complicated. That's what I'm trying to say here. These emotions are there, but we it's really difficult to show it. But the point here is we are going to use this empathy in giving solutions for the problem. That's what I said already. It's a really big area. From the psychology point of view, it is different, completely different. We are taking this empathy aspect right in the problem which we are going to solve. Hope I made some sense on your question, Professor.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah. So I think so. One is right. This particular point, right? When you are pre-assumed, so what will happen is I'll just take an example. There is animation problem. That's what this is showing over there. So let me discuss one problem, right? How this empathy, right? When you add empathy in your problem, how you can solve a real problem. So this is one example. So this is problem happened with that earlier 1930s 40s time, where we had the kind of conveyor belt model where we automate things and then we go for bulk manufacturing, right? That model. So where usually we try to have those time period one size fits all approach they usually have. There is no custom. For example, Ford, when they launch their car, all their cars are in black color only. Okay, they never manufactured car in other colors. They manufactured only in black color, right? And that is what happened. Then Japanese companies came into kind of an with different new concepts, and they came with that different colors. So now what happened is many people right automatically jumped to the other color different color cars rather than black color. So earlier Ford thought black is that right color we got used, that is that only thing we can attract that people like that, they thought. But it is changed. Then what happened is now Ford is forced to change their policy. They also started manufacturing the different colors. So the point here is, right, when you go with this one size fits all approach, that's what the earlier cases, it lead to a lot of problems. So one such example is here. So in 1940s US Air Force, they had a lot of accidents. Okay, so you can see, right, they had at least 17 crashes per day. You can imagine 17 crashes per day it happened. And they presumed they thought, okay, this is because of we are moving from an advanced aviation model, so that pilots are incapable of, or they are having some problem in managing the speed or altitude, and then these accidents are happening. That is what they presumed, and then they were focusing on more on training. They are focusing more on training. Okay, they try to give more training so that they try to avoid this problem or reduce this aviation accident. But what happened is there is some group, right? They thought, okay, what is the real problem? Why this is happening? They start thinking from the different angle. Okay, instead of moving from this old version of a plane to new faster planes, instead why not there's some other problem? Sorry. So that's what happened. Then what is that came with that one? There is a kind of this pilot and everybody given that seat. That seat size is defined by average soldier body. Okay, they said this is an average soldier body, and to fit that soldier, they have designed that seat. Okay, so now they understood, okay, this could be a problem, because they said this cockpit and helmet, everything is designed because of this, bulk manufacturing. Bulk manufacturing, if you want, you can't have different sizes. You need to have unique sizes, then only you can have a bulk manufacturing. right? So they went with an average soldier body because they are going to do a lot of exercise and a lot of, you hope you know that soldier's life. So most of that are in shape. So they went with that kind of an average body and they designed. So what is that report said is that is what more interesting, right? So this average soldier body. So they went and checked how many of these soldiers are falling into this average body size. Now this is what interesting. They found it none of them, zero out of 4,000 study they did. They were did study with 4,000 pilots, Air Force pilots, and none of them were put into that average dimension given by that that manufacturing place. Which means that over the years, the initially maybe that rule will be fine, but over the year, what happened is that they didn't change it and they went with the same model. And now what is that happening is all the pilots were sitting in their seats with a lot of difficulty. They didn't feel more comfort, and because of that, if any sudden problems comes in, they're unable to move freely, and which caused a lot of accidents. So this is what the study found. So the point here is, if you remember that first quote which I showed, right, you need to think from the different angle, then only you can try to solve that problem. So now, all right, if you remember that this is the quote which I mentioned. So we are doing it from that user point of view, understand their problem, and then how we can solve. So this design thing is the entire process. The first one, empathy, is understanding their issues, understanding their problem. That's it. The remaining part, the solutions, are the other stages where we ideate and finally we test the solution and then we give it to the user. So now with this, what they did is they come with that adjustable seats. So they come with the right adjustable model. So now that anyone can sit over there and they can change that seating according to their size, and the problem is solved. And after that, hope you know that very well. So nowadays the air accidents or plane accidents are very less. And the reason is we have more of automation, more of artificial intelligence, a lot of things are involved nowadays to reduce all these problems. So if you see this, right, just imagine if they didn't do this research from the other angle, what they would have taught is they could have increased their training time. They would have hardened their training for the pilot, right? And which is not the actual problem. So that is where I hope you remember the big problem, right? When we are seeing the problem from the same angle, you may see it's a very complex one. You might think we are giving very good training, all soldiers are really good and they are academically sound, they did everything well, then how these accidents are happening? So if they are not ready to listen from the other angle, then we can't able to solve the problem. Okay, that is all. So any questions? Shall I move? Just a minute. Okay. So, let me move. So that's the first step in our design thinking, user empathy. So it's not only that, right? If you take all the revolution, all that leaders, all are called a leader because they understood from the other people's feeling. You're right. If you start from the freedom fighters, or if you take any people or Martin Luther King, anyone, right, or Nelson Mandela, they brought all these changes, revolution, or people behind them because they recognize and they understand the need of the people and that problem they have, and they try to help them to solve the problem. That is where they are turned into a kind of a leader. If you are unable to understand the people issues or people problems, then you can't be a leader, or you will not be remembered in history as a good leader. Maybe you will be remembered as a bad leader, but not as a good leader. So right, empathy is important in all the areas, but especially in design thinking, that is where we kept as the first part. Empathy, we try to address it from the user point of view. So if you see this, right, almost all the innovations, interesting innovations are came into picture. Again, feeling from the empathy, right? When you have some problem, how we can, elevate it, how we can come out of this. All that, most of the solution which we have in, right, in the scientific category, all are in that case. For example, if you take pandemic situation, now the anti-vaccine, right? Covishield, Covaxin, like that, we have a lot of vaccines are there. All are come out of this one to solve the user's problem. how we can solve this problem. And now, if you think the first vaccine which we had, that is also the same problem. That time there is no solution at all, right? How to stop out that time he come with the first vaccine, right? That first vaccine who brought it over there, it is a kind of a complete new innovator, new things happen, and all those things are out of this empathy only, right? The same thing if you take from the Apple, hope you all know that, right? I don't know how many of you know that Steve Jobs, he started the company, but in between the time he was sent out of that company. All the board of directors, they threw him out of Apple. He was that person who was one of the inventor along with that Apple, but they threw him out. Then after that, after some 8-9 years, he that same company, they asked him to join back to see the problem, to address the problem of Apple, because the strategy which has been given by Apple, Steve Jobs, is not recognized by the board, so they throw him out. But that the decision what they had is they understood they cost much. Now when he came back, they had a lot of products in line to manufacture. So he said, right, why we got to manufacture all these things, right? He had a meeting and then say we are going to pick only 4 products on 4 different area, and then you are going to focus only on manufacturing those 4 products. And that is where they come with what the first important product, Apple iPod, right? Then the completely everything is changed. All the designs, all the solutions which is come from Apple is from the user point of view, from the from the user point of view, and attracting that user needs, and that's where known for more of innovation. That 2007 they launched the first smartphone, right? That is their innovation. After that only now we have all kind of smartphone in our hand. So this empathy is nothing but, right, understanding the user's problem. And all these all the startup company which you are talking now, all are taking some domain where that user is having a problem and how we are going to address it with a solution. So if they're able to manage it, then they are successful as a good company. Okay, so the empathy is not a kind of thing we got to we got to build it. It is already part of a human being. Everyone has already mentioned, right? By birth we have empathy, right? If you and a good example is if you see that if one baby is cross crying, the other baby in the room also will start crying immediately. Or if you go to kindergarten schools, if one a kid start crying, I'm not going to school, like that, then automatically other kids also will start crying it by seeing it. Doesn't mean that they also not want it, but seeing that crying itself, they also got influenced, and then that to support that person, they also start crying. This kind of from the psychological study, they found it. This is what the part of the empathy, right? And sometime when you are attracted to that serial, right? Nowadays we a lot of serials or movie, when there is a kind of emotional scene comes in, we also get tears in our eyes automatically, right? That is also part of empathy only. That's where the directors touch, we say it, right? If the director is able to connect the emotion of the audience, then it becomes an important movie, and then we cherish with that movie, right? So that's where, so empathy is part of everyone, and how we are going to realize it, how we are going to bring it in a solution, that's where the success of a product or success of a solution is there. So to emphasize, these are the 3 major part. Need to observe the other people, how they behavior in various people, especially the context is very important. For what is the context begin, why that person is doing like this, right? And then engage with them and immerse. I'll tell you, right, one more example of Ford company. Hope you would have known it, right? I don't know whether you have seen it, because it's a very interesting problem, and you would have got some WhatsApp forward also. I don't know. Um, so Ford company, right, long back when we are launching new model, they launched a new model of car, and they received a feedback from the customer. He write that letter in this way, right? Is there any fight between you and, that is, your brand and vanilla ice cream? That is what he stated writing the letter. He said, right, is there any problem with your car, and is there any fight between your brand and the vanilla ice cream? And then when they people start reading the letter, they they would have thought it could be kind of troll, because he was writing letter in that way. So that person mentioned that whenever I go to mall and then purchase vanilla ice cream, my car is not starting. So this is the problem he mentioned. Whenever I go to the nearby shopping mall and I buy the vanilla ice cream, the car is not starting. So is there any fight between your brand and that vanilla ice cream? Like that, he wrote that letter. if any other person would have seen this letter and then say kind of, they are making some funny statement, they are trying to troll us like that, they would have ignored it. But instead of that, they observe, okay, what could be the problem? So why they have write like this? Why they got to spend their time and to write like this? So they sent a team of 9 engineers, two engineers went there in the customer place to understand, to engage with them, to interact to what is their problem, right? What is that exactly happening? So they went there to observe, also to interact with them, right? They asked them to explain, okay, what is that problem exactly? So they said every night it's a very hope right, in foreign country you'll have a kind of climate will be cold. Climate is really cold, so no one will come out. So what they said is the family kind of occasion. They will play a game. The person who lost the game will have to go outside and purchase things for the other people, or to have that snacks like kind of thing. So whenever the person who is defeated will take the car, go to the nearby place, and then purchase the items, will come back. So what happened is whenever they go and buy the vanilla brand, vanilla ice cream, then the car was not starting. This is what they complain. Then they went and analyzed that situation, and then went to that mall. They went to that showroom, and then what is that happening over there? Then they try to understand from their point of view. Okay, if in the night, if they come and stop their car, park the car, and they walk into that one, and they are going to buy various things, and they mentioned that whenever they buy vanilla ice cream, not with any other ice cream or any other thing. So then what is the problem with that? So they said usually they will buy only ice creams in that night, and it depends on who is winner, will choose the flavor, and will go and buy the ice cream accordingly. So now they understood this. Okay, this is what happening. Now they went into this showroom to see what is their problem with that ice cream. So vanilla is a very common flavor. So what happened is they kept that vanilla ice cream very close to the counter. That is very easy to reach or grab it. The other flavor ice creams are inside. So the different flavors are make out to walk into that one. To some, it will take some more time. So they understood that the cool off period, it is not happening. So the engine is not cooling up before they come back, whenever they get that vanilla ice cream, right? And that car is not cooling up properly, so they are unable to start that car. The engine is having some problem. They understood this, and then they change that design accordingly. So why I'm telling is right. So these are happening earlier, but we don't know this comes under the design thinking. But now we have separate stream is there, which is focusing from the user point of view. So instead of ignoring it, right, going to that situation of the particular user, and then understand from their point of view, observe it, and then we come with that kind of a solution, how we can avoid that issues, or how we can give a better solutions for the problem. Okay, so now when we come to this, the real life, it is not only that product. In real life, also the empathy is an important workplace value. Hope you all agree with that. So understand your employees. If it is been management, understanding the employees co-worker. For you, it's understanding your co-worker is very important. Your department people or your or other superiors. If you want to understand them from their point of view, then we need to have this empathy. And then understand your customers from the if you take myself, I have to understand the other customers point of view. Whenever I speak with any colleges or any client or any of the other people, then I need to understand from their point of view, then only we can able to address the problem. Otherwise it will be too difficult. Same way, right? It is going to increase the productivity when your entire department is empathic, all of them are empathic in nature. That is, they support each other. Then naturally, you'll have a better productivity out of the department. Otherwise, you'll have chaos and then fight, and then you will be having that feeling, right? Of why I have to be here? There is no other way to go out. So managing the situation instead of enjoying that place, and better teamwork, which is also out of your empathy. Right, so these are some major points. And if you see that research has been taken on this empathy part, 93% of employees, they agreed, regardless of age, they agreed that empathy is an important place. And they also mentioned that if anybody is not having empathy, they are not good for that company. They should be sent out. They should be exit from the company. So we can see, right, how many people agree on it. Especially the current generation, they are having that, right. The empathy is not there, then it is not it's too difficult to work with them like that. So that's where the empathy is also playing a role in our regular life. So putting all these things together, empathy is, it's a first step of our relationship, or if take anything. It's the first step. Empathy is the first step. Then remaining all other things are there where you are going to, proceed other things in giving a solutions or giving a better support or giving a, better, services to the customer. All those things are based on that how empathetic we are. Okay. So how or in what way we can develop this empathy in general, right? In what way we can develop the empathy as a human being, irrespective of any product, irrespective of any place, as a in general, in your workplace or in your home or in your society, and how what are the things we can do in bringing that empathy. So the first major point is right. Don't assume. You try to understand. So don't assume you understand. That's very important. So most of the people we say right, we assume that we understood, but actually it is not. So to make it happen, whenever we are having a lengthy interaction with any of our students or colleagues or family member or any other person, third party, we need to listen to their completely. And we need to understand that where their emotional shift is happening when they're talking about something, when they start crying, when they are right. If you remember all those things, then it will be kind of easy. That is, you are connecting with that person emotionally. So the point is right, when you are connected to the other person, right, you will also start doing the react to the other persons in your body cues, right? Your what do you say? Your body movement, your hand movement, your eye shake, all these things will be connected, will give a lot of cues to the opponent or the opposite person, and then we'll understand, okay, you are understood that the problem actually or not. So this instead of assuming, if you try to listen to them, then it will solve a lot of things. Many cases we will come with right, I thought, I assumed. This kind of word we strongly use in most of the cases, which could be avoided when we start listening to their words, and if you remember that what they said, then we need to be stay current, especially right, we have to make it about them, not us, or not when we are having a conversation, if you are trying to help someone, then we should focus from their point of view, or you need to keep them in center light, not us, right? Even though what will happen is uh, when we are having some interaction, something happened to you, it will come to our personal memory, and then it will clock our judgment, or it will blur our decision with our own story with theirs. So that will be turned up messy, and you will not be able to give some proper words. You can't use it properly. That's the real problem. We know that situation in that case, but we are unable to use the right words, to show our empathy, or to confront that particular person, so or be more, close to that particular person. Then third important point is we need to manage our filter, or we need to see this as a human being instead of our assumptions and belief. Right off, we have a lot of beliefs in our life. For example, this particular age always having this problem. These girls are always like this. These boys are always like this teacher is always like this particular your colleague, you may have some kind of filter, because this faculty is always do like this, like that. We have a lot of beliefs and assumption that should be avoided when we are trying to be empathetic, because every time the situation changes, and then we try to understand from the situation. Okay, otherwise we will be missing that their angle of story, and then we come with our own assumption with our filters, and we'll take a decision, right? So most of the time, if you go to police station, they will come with the assumptions only, because when if you go for some complaint, immediately they will jump into some kind of conclusion. Okay, this could be the problem, like that, because they have seen a lot of cases like that, right? So they have their own filter. So that is also sometimes they take a lot of time in cracking a case. When someone start thinking from a different angle, why this angle? Okay, we will take a different angle. Then they would have cracked the case and then solve the case. So always that we should managing our filter is very important, or try to not to have a kind of filter all the time. Okay. Then fourth one is we need to try to validate the opponent feeling or their feeling. That is very important. So when you are listening to someone, right, whether it's a good or bad, okay, and we should not come into judgment. Okay, so you have to ask their judgment. Okay, why they say it's a bad, why it is a good. So you need to ask their one instead of jump immediately. Yes, what you're saying is correct. If you jump like that, then there will be no conversation afterwards. So instead of jumping into accepting yes, what you're saying is correct, so you can ask a basic question. So why you are thinking in that way? Why you feel it is it's valid, or why you feel it is wrong? So if they will come with a kind of say their sense of on what basis they come to that conclusion. So because everyone is having their own basis on their own line. For example, when you say he's a good person, when you say he's a good person, the good person, when you say there is a line which will differ from one person to another person. Okay, so same thing, right? When one faculty saying he's a very good student, other faculty may not like it. Say, right, how we are saying that student is a very good student. Because each student's, each faculty's scale is different on measuring the good or bad. So in that case, we need to ask the right question, right? So on what basis you are saying that person is good? Then we'll understand, okay, what are the parameters that the other side person is using on judging it, right? On whether it is a good or bad. Then we can, listen it accordingly from their point of view. Then we can give we can understand or we can validate their feelings accordingly instead of from our point of view. That's very important is the stage of empathy is not to try to fix their problem, and instead of that we listen to that, understand their perspective, and then only if they want a solution we can offer it, right? This is a major problem for most of that male usually, right? If you take in your home situation, most of the time the fight between husband and wife will happen on this particular aspect only. I'm just giving some general thought. Okay, and don't I didn't want to get into this one. So for example, in general, men are problem solvers and women are process oriented. So what will happen is the conversation what we have in home or in general, the women will think from different angle, but whereas men will think from the different angle. So whenever having some conversation, for example, you can think in this way, you know. When husband is coming back to home after job and the wife is waiting for him, or whether it is in a housemaker or homemaker or work from some other company, would be anything. So would be sharing something with that husband when come back. Most of the time what will happen is the husband will jump to the conclusion that okay, my wife is having a problem, I need to solve it. So that is what most of the men will think, right? And they will try to offer that solution. Okay, why you do like this? You should have did like this. You should have do this. Then they start offering the solution, but that is not what they wanted. The right on the wives or the women is not expecting that. They want us to listen what happened, the process. So they will try to explain what happened. So as a husband or as a man, if they listen, if you lend our ears and if you listen to that one, the problem never going to come. But when we start offering the solution, it kind of turn into kind of slowly to turn into fight, and then we never speak again for some time, or we'll that's where the real problem comes in. So when you are listening to someone, we have to lend our ears and we have to listen to it fully and thoroughly. And most of this kind of situation, the wife is already coming the solution. They have already solution, but they would have mentioned it a lot at the end after explaining all the problem process step by process. Then they say, okay, I did like this, and then the problem solved. Like that, they come with it and they will close it. But without waiting for it, when men are jumping into conclusion and then giving, that's where the real problem. So most of the cases will happen. I'm just giving some example. So the point here is, most of the time when you are addressing boys or girls, it'll different. When you're reporting to the woman manager or lady manager or a men or then it'll be different one. So your college management is by group of men is managing or group of women managing, all everything is different. Even if you take this corona or COVID cases, which country addressed this very fast? If you take the report, where you will be finding an interesting one. I think most of the country where that COVID stopped very fastly is, the prime minister was as a female. Woman was the prime minister in most of those countries. If you want, you can check it out. So each and every one is having their own way of approaching problem. That is also we need to come to the conclusion when you're trying to give the, consoling a boy or a girl, and you're consoling a man or a woman, it differs accordingly. So that's where it is not easy. It is not easy, but it is not that much difficult when you want to really solve the problem. You can be an right empathize first. That is what very important. So then you can give your ideas if they want. If they want, you can give your ideas after that. Okay. So is there any questions up to this? Shall I move forward? Hope you are there. Okay. Shall I move forward? No response.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Same problem you will also face, right? When you're asking student question to your students, right? Okay, fine. So let me proceed. So now, we are going to think from that angle, right? How this empathy is playing a major role in developing a solutions for the problem. Could be anything, any domain, anywhere. When you are developing a solution, how this empathy is playing a major role on it. Okay. So the goal is could be anything, but when you are interacting with the problem, right, with the users on their problem, they won't say everything. They say right very specific to them. They are not very specific. Most of them they will give some general opinion, general answers, and by asking the right questions only, we can able to get that right information out of them. So if, for any company, for anywhere, if they want to give a solution, the solution they want to make it desirable for the human. The solution what they make that should be desirable to the human and should be feasible, right, in terms of technology they are using in that company, and the viability from the business point of view, whether they have budget, whether they have that room for production like that. So putting all these things only, that goal that is achievable or unachievable. So if the goal is achievable, then that company will move forward and they'll start making that solutions or that services for the particular customer. So in that particular angle, right, first one is, we need to understand that the people won't convey all immediately. If you are for not only here, even if you go and meet your doctor, no, we won't give the actual information. If suppose if you are waiting for the doctor to ask question, then you reply. If the doctor is not asking all questions properly, we may not able to tell immediately. Many patients will struggle in giving their problem. They shy, they want to hide behind details, and they won't give the actual symptoms they have. They try to hide on those cases. The same thing, right? Will happen in our normal discussion with our customer also. They won't, convey all the information. So by asking the right question only, we make them to, answer those questions. So it could be for any reason. It might be right. They might be say it's irrelevant, is not relevant to the task, or they might be fear to, give that answer for the question, or they don't trust you, right? Or any could be anything. When you are engaging with other person in asking some question and then getting answer with a third party person, right? Because the solution which are going to provide is for the a third party. In that case, we can't say that they will be engaging with us wholeheartedly and they'll be giving that all in answers. So, for example, imagine that if your college is arranging some, one-to-one interaction with some expert, some right a mental health specialist or some expert, or for some reasons, how many of the faculty will have that open 100% heart-to-heart discussion with that person? Definitely, it is for various reasons. You might be fear, distrust, n number of reasons. We may not open up. We may not want to, show who we are. So the same thing will happen with our customer, because when you are developing a solution for the public, right? We need to ask them what are the problem you have, and they have to reply back, and then based on that only we can develop it, right? So that is more easily won't happen, and we need to ask a lot of question, a lot of scenarios we got to try to do. So, but when we are using some empathy on that part, Okay, so how you felt when you're riding this vehicle, how you felt, is it easy, or it's instead of asking this yes no kind of question, what is your experience, when you are taking this ride, or when you make it as an open-ended question, then the people will try to answer it more with their own words, where we can able to take information. If you are making an yes or no kind of question, then we will not able to take any kind of feelings of those kind of people, or any people for that one. The yes no answer won't help, right? So we need to be more with an open-ended question, and we should ask in the right time, the right place, in the right way, and to get set the context accordingly. Okay. So this empathy is playing a very crucial role, and we are going to discuss in that particular angle only. If you see in the current market, any solutions given with that empathy flavor, it is really hit, and many people are using it. Otherwise, they are not using it that way. For example, very simply, I can put it another way around. So when how many of you are using our IRCT website? So when you're getting the website, how many of you like this website? For a very simple reason, when your experience with this particular website, IRCT website, how many of you felt what is your experience when you are using IRCTC on booking a ticket, especially the
Not that
ticket?
good. Not that good, sir. Sometimes okay, many times worst, sir.
Yeah. So this is where the user experience comes in picture. Now you are saying right online, right? Now I have to ask the right question. Okay, in which situation you felt this one? Like that, we have to ask question, because if we go with that one, they will come with that in like what you said. They come with a kind of a general answer only. They'll come. They won't be very specific. So we need to ask very question. Okay, when you had more frustration, whether you had a problem when you're booking a Tatkal ticket or normal ticket. When I ask this question, now your answer would be. I'm asking question, right? Which was your frustration had more when you're booking Tatkal ticket booking or normal ticket booking?
Tatkal.
Yeah,
Normal
Tatkal.
ticket booking, Tatkal. Okay, even normal ticket booking also, many a times we'll have to just retype once again, sir. That becomes
Yes.
more difficult and more, what to say, at that network issue times we suffer a lot.
Yes. So now,
Using
right, we
the other
can.
websites like Make My Trip, and they are far, user friendly than these one, which look and give you the feel that this is something related to the government website.
Yes, that's what. And now we have no other option as well, right? Because IRCTC is a monopoly. There is no other way we can book the ticket other than this. If you are using other platform, we have to pay some other service charges, some 30, 40 or 50 rupees additionally we have to pay. Then those things we have to consider. So if you see this, right, you can see, right, a lot of icons here, the menu icon. These are, we are not going to use it, right? Buses, flight, hotel, all these things, and these are clouding this entire thing. So like that, this is how the solution provider will start thinking, okay, how we can minimize it. For suppose if you go and visit your google.com, right? If you visit this google.com website, it is very simple, right? Nothing will be there, because they know their purpose is for search engine. So they have given only that search engine for that part. You can start typing it. So when Google was launched initially, hope most of you know that Yahoo was famous and everyone's homepage is yahoo.com. So how they changed this because of this simple interface from the user friendly. If you visit that yahoo.com, right, you will be able to see that their screen is something different from Google. So you can see, right, it is crowded with a lot of things. They have search bar, but if you scroll down, you have n number of information. You can see, right, it will endless, it will flow. So how many of the people will scroll down and see all these things? But still, they are using the same template or same design. You can see it will come out and load that messages, and then you can see, right, it will keep on going. How many of you will go on to see all these things? But whereas that Google is a very simple one, they said, okay, we are providing a search engine. So from the user point of view, they come here and they go and search. Then why we have to pollute the page with other information? Even though Google is known for advertisements, but there is no advertisement on this particular front page, no advertisement at all, right? So if you see this, there is no advertisement, but Google is having AdWord, all those things are there, will be there in other pages, not on the home page. But in the case of your Yahoo, you can see the advertisement, everything on the home page itself. Okay, so that's where the user experience or from the people point of view, and then they have kept all other options in the side panel. You can see, right, they kept all other options here. The same way, right, if they given this IRCD is also in this way, it'll be easy for the people, those who are working on it, because they are coming for booking a ticket on train. Then buses, flights are optional, right? Hotels, holidays, these are the next thing after. Then why we have to put all those things in the front page? So like this, if you start thinking from the user point of view and by asking right question, then we end up with a good product and good design for that particular customer which we are targeting. Okay. That's why I already answered, right? Your Apple iPod. When MP3 players were in the market, but they didn't capture the market. But when Apple launched their iPod, it changed everything, and they captured that market by storm. That is the re-entry of your Steve Jobs back to Apple, and it changed everything. After that, right? Many MP3 players they started mimicking the Apple iPod model, right? And that experience, but right, the experience what iPod gave, it is not there nowadays. iPod is not needed because he launched when he was launching 2007 that iPhone. He said that right, we put together all these single device, like that he made a presentation. If you watch that Steve Jobs presentation on launching 2007 iPhone, first iPhone model, you will love it, that presentation. So it's what, right, keep it simple. That is from the user point of view. So whenever we give a solution, we ask questions from what are the problems, how we are going to solve the problem, why this problem need to be solved. The why is very important. Why we need to give a solution for this problem. Why we need to address this issue for this particular person, or why I have to go there and be there with the person. The why is very important, because based on that why only we will be extending our empathy. So why I have to go to that person's home and help that person. Why I have to listen to this person. Why I have to help this person. Why I have to attend this issue. Because why is very important and powerful. And then only what are the other symptoms, other issues, and then how I'm going to solve it. All those things will come into picture. Okay, so this is that interesting quote from Frank Kimoro. He mentioned that right, people ignore design that ignores people. Okay, so you have n number of design in the outside. Whichever the design ignores the people, that design will be ignored by the people also. So nobody will support that particular design for taking it. So we'll see a very good example for it. Okay. As in our everyday life, you would have seen this, right? Push pull doors will be there. So whenever you face this push pull door, are you comfortable in moving across, or you will take a time and then you decide which direction I got to do? That is happening for you. What is your experience when you're having this door in your place, workplace, or somewhere you see this push pull, right? What will be your reaction?
Just a 1 second of thinking is needed, sir, actually, immediately.
Yes, naturally, right. Even though we are very good in reading it, but still we take a pause whether to pull or push, or either we will get a confusion. And sometimes the door will open both sides, push, pull, right. So in that case, again, we'll consider then why they put that push, pull, word in that one. That door can be open in both directions. Then why they need this? And a lot of confusion will be there. Definitely, you will take a pause over there. Even if you are walking very fastly towards the door, but still you will stand there and you'll think, okay, whether you got to push it or pull it. And otherwise you may stuck up in right, you'll get frustration. It's not opening like that. So for this one, from the better design, right, it's been given like this: push or no handle. No handle be there for push, because when there is no handle, then you will be automatically push it, because that is where our angle will happen. If you see it, the design in our train AC compartment, you can able to see this. So they'll be having right a push and a pull, right. When you are entering that AC compartment, you'll be having a push. There'll be no handle. You'll be having only a place where you can put your hand and then you can push it. Then inside the cabin, you'll be having that handle where you can pull it up. So this is much more better design than that first one, right? And also it is reduces your expenditure as well, because your material also minimized here, right? So it is a very simple one. The same way, if you take in any angle, right, which is very easy or comfortable for the user on doing it, that is where the design thinking come into picture. So you don't need any effort here. So when there is no handle, you will be going with the pushing it, because you can't pull it. You have one option, so your brain will automatically go on to push it instead of trying to pull it, right? So that's where this quote. If you take anything in real time, if you are ignoring that the people point of view, then that is not a good design. That is not a good solution for that user you are trying to solve. Okay. So in any company, right, when you are in recent times, after design thinking is stormed all the industry, whenever the people, right, we try to give a solution, we try to do this research from on the empathy part. So the first part is one is right, try to discover, you know, identify that approaching user. So we try to identify or try to discover that user's behavior. Okay, what is their behavior, why they are reacting in this way, and then we try to understand the reasons, right, from their behavior, because you can't express everything by words. It is too difficult to express everything by words. So by observing what is happening over there, then we can see the real frustration or the real behavior, how they make choices, right? All those things we can come to a conclusion on it, and then that will help in coming to the next page. It's called immersion, which we already discussed, right? So we get into that user's shoe, or from their point of view, wearing their shoes, and then we try to understand entering into the phase of empathy, because without wearing their shoes we can't get into the empathy. That is from their point of view, what is that problem, right? How they are feeling it, and then trying to relive that experience, what they have undergone so far, and how they felt frustrated, how they felt very happy with that one. So those kind of things we try to understand from that particular one. So it is the second phase of your design research we do, immersion. And then third one is connection. That is, you're connecting with that and other people, try to engage with the similar users, and then try to connect all the problems, all the challenges that users are felt, and then we try to create some empathic insight. Okay, what kind of people are there, how different peoples are there. Always we have three different, for example, if you are manufacturing, if you take a t-shirt, we need to manufacture in various sizes, right? If you are manufacturing t-shirt in only one size, then you may not able to successful in that market. So you will have XS, S, L, XL, double XL, triple XL. Like that, we have many sizes you have to manufacture. Then why? Because they have their problem. Now the first right, the company who made this different design, they would have did a lot of research why we have to go with the different size manufacturing, right? And now it has been a norm. So if any company who are going to manufacture or going to prepare any materials weared by other people, naturally they go with the different sizes accordingly. Even if you take a classes or anything, you come with the different sizes naturally. So, but the first right, the person who brought this in that industry, those would have did a lot of experiment, lot of studies on whether to go forward with it or not. Okay. And then the final one is a detachment. That is, now you are coming out of it, and then try to give a solution for that one. Okay, so by detach their feelings, you come out of their feeling, come out of everything, and then see that how you can implement a solution on solve those problems. So you have to think on the various approaches. So that is where the next stage your idea, right, where we try to create different solutions for addressing those issues which we have captured. Okay, so these are the four phases of research in empathy. So when you are start, whenever any company, any product, any service company, they are going to offer it, this is going to be in place. If you see this right in Amazon or Flipkart, this online marketing. Before that we had eBay. When eBay was there, many people are not interested on doing right online purchases. But nowadays online purchase is very common. It's become a very norm to most of the people. Whenever we want to buy anything, we go and visit Flipkart or Amazon, and then we make it order. And if you see this right, small changes will be there in how they are offering, how they are doing this supply to that customer, and based on that they are earning the credibility, or they are earning the trust from the customer. If Amazon earned more trust, then they will be giving more what is that, more customer will go and buy the product from them. Otherwise, it will go to the Flipkart. Some other companies come with a better solution, better way of dealing with this problem, or what are the problem commonly faced by these people of Amazon or Flipkart. If they come with a better solution, then probably that company might beat both of these company, right? Amazon, Flipkart, both of them will be taken away from by another company. So like that will happen always. So which company is focusing in the right angle, it is always going to beat that competition, and they take more profit in the market, also going to help the users in solving their problem. Okay. So when you are doing this design search, these 4 phases, right? In the 4 phases of design, what we are going to focus is from the user point of view, we try to see their world, and then we try to understand their feelings when they are using the product, when they are getting into the situation, what is their feeling, and then appreciate whatever they feel. We appreciate, okay, they are doing this. Then we try to take that feeling into that one, and then we communicate the understanding in a properly, which will help us to move to the next stage of your design thinking. But in this process, what we do is we try to get more information of that person we are dealing with it. First one is, right, try to collect that personal details and their profession, age, location, what we are observing from that person, all those things. So their height, everything we try to collect. Then that interesting stories, right? Especially when I asked, right, IRCTC, you were telling that, you told that, right? Some of you told that. Now we had horrible experience or bad experience. Now you will be telling that story, right? If I ask, right, why you felt it, you may explain the situation where you had a real trouble, right? So that stories, right? Whatever the stories you are telling, that if we got listen it, so those stories will make that situation unique, or it will insist that why we got to give a solution for the particular problem. And then the motivation, right? Why, what is it behind? Why you are trying to give a solution, right? So the motivation is very important, right? So why you want to care? Why you are giving more care to that particular person? Could be any reason. As a company, we want to make profit. Yes, then that is a ultimate motivation. And then we want to give a society, in the society, ethically we want to solve the problem, and so that we can retain that trust, or the brand value of that company will increase. Could be anything. So what is that motivation behind it? Why that person is coming down and helping me? What is the motivation behind it? When someone is helping us, we might think definitely, so why this guy is helping, or why this person is helping me, right? What is that motivation? We might think in that way. So the same way, right, the motivations we collect, and then the frustrations, right? What are the problem they are facing, right? In using that existing system or anything, the frustrations, or that their confusions, all those things we try to capture. And then all possible interactions, how they are interacting with the environment in a better way, within their limit. So all these things we try to collect, and then we will come with some lot more question unique to the each user. We can't go with a common set of questions. Sometimes you may have to ask some unique question to that particular specific user. So we try to come with that questions based on that, observing that field. For example, if you are giving a solution for a bank, that clerk will behave differently, office system will work differently, manager will work differently. So you may have a questions unique to that particular profile. That particular profile, you may have a different one. If you come to college, the student will behave differently, faculty will behave differently, the junior faculty, senior faculty, or HOD, they behave differently. So we try to ask a lot of questions to understand from their position what is the challenge they are facing. So like this, we try to observe it. And when we do all these things, we end up with this deliverable. In the industry point of view, we'll end up with this deliverable. User persona, empathy map, journey map, storyboard. These are the very common deliverables which we take, and out of this only we move it forward to the next stage, and then finally we end up with a solution for that particular problem. So this empathy is the very first stage, right? So we'll be end up with collecting all problem, all reasons, and then possible opportunities. Everything's are represented and presented in any one of this format. User persona is to taking a sample user to whom we are providing the solution. An empathy map. So we try to collect all that point from the user. Empathy. We will see that in upcoming one, some samples on each and every case. So now the first one, when you take user persona. So here you are going to see some samples persona which we can create like this. In any company, when we are going to produce some solutions or service, so we will create like this user persona. If you take IRCTC website, we are going to redefine it from the user point of view. What are the frustration they have with the existing one. We try to collect the user persona with a different age limit. As a 60-year-old, I try to book a ticket in IRCTC. What are the problem I'm facing? As a 40 years old, you may have a different problem. And as a 15-year-old, you may have a different problem like that. From each user profile that classifying the define, and then we try to create like this. So you can see here, this is one persona, user persona. We'll be creating like this. So its name is Ying, and age is 45. Juris doctor degree. You can see right, hometown, family, occupation, like that we collect, and then so the one-liner about that person. Is right? I live an active lifestyle, so I need healthy and hearty meal options. I just don't have time to cook them myself. So this line will tell that what is the core problem of the user, and then what is the goals and what are the frustration that user is having with the current one. Then we'll give a detailed user persona, right? What that person is expecting. This is how we create a persona for the situation, for each solution which we try to create. So in we'll be having a separate group of people will be there. We'll have a multiple round of interview and questions, surveys, a lot of things we do, and based on that we collect these things, right? So the same thing, right? If you take another user persona where this person age is what, 19. You can see, right? We have given a one-liner is been given from this particular age group point of view. So I prefer ordering pickup to avoid the overwhelming language barrier I encounter dining in restaurant. So he is from some other country. He is from some other country and then coming for college. So he is having that language barrier. So he want to have a different the online app for that pizza ordering. So he is having different goals. Now if you see the goals for him is different. This particular user is different, and frustration is something different. So you can see, right, who is partially fluent in English. So like this, we try to create a different persona for a different situation, different people. So the product or service to whom we are offering, whether it is for men or women or both, or what age group, whether it is kids or young or elder people, or all kind of people. So based on that particular application app will be designed. We need to design by meeting all the requirements by providing the proper connecting. So for which we try to create the user persona, and then we proceed to the next step further. Okay. So any questions up to this? Shall I move forward? Professor, you can give any reply in the chat window or your symbol and write something so that I can continue. Any doubts, any questions? Yeah, thank you, Professor. Now the next one is your empathy map. Empathy map is right, thinking from that emotion level from the user point of view. By understanding the user and by asking, right, instead of asking a lot of question, we can ask them to give some one or two open-ended question where they elaborate, and we start listening to that one. Based on that, we try to capture it. So this empathy map will be designed or prepared by the designers who try to give the solution, not the user, but we are going to ask the question, appropriate questions, and based on that we end up with this one. So this is what the empathy map canvas, the design, the template. So whenever we try to give a solution for a problem in industry wise, we'll try to use this template on addressing this problem or creating that empathy map. If you see this first one, right, we say designed for design by like that. Instead of then we will have the who we are empathizing with, right, the person details, the background, the age, the situation where they're living, or what is the role with the current situation, like that we will be trying to get the information. And then what do they do, what they need to do. So we try to ask some questions. Okay, what is it they want to do differently, or what they want to achieve, like that we try to ask some basic question. And how will they ensure that what they tried is happening correctly, or what is that parameter they would consider that part is completed successfully. So all these things we try to collect under that what they do. And this is what that major part name, then the remaining part. So you can see, right, what do they hear? These are the from the user point of view, what do they see and what do they say, and then the do. These are from the user point of view. So from their point of view, then we list down all the pains. What are the pain points? What are the gains? Or what are the things they are trying to achieve it with that particular solution? So that comes under the what do they think and feel. Okay, so this is that entire model. What are the things they hear about that particular problem, or from the friends, or from the relatives, from the society, right? What do they hear and what do they say from their point of view? What they see in the marketplace, in their home, in their hand, right? When they're having the product, what is that they are watching? Whether it is understandable or not, like that. From the user point of view, we try to create that complete empathy map. Okay, so we'll see some example in the next one. But right, this is how we create that empathy map. This empathy map is is a kind of a collaborative visualization to articulate that ideas or that opinion of that user, right? The user can be any type, right? This empathy map is not for a common. It is for each type of user. You can have a different empathy map. Okay, as we created the user persona here, right? For each persona, you can create the empathy map. So from that user point of view, what is that empathy map? So from their point of view, what is their major problem? What they are seeing, what they are saying, and then what they are doing to avoid the problem, or how they respond to that issue. Like that, we try to create that empathy map. That is the second deliverable. So here is an activity for you. I'll give you some 2 minutes for you. Just go through this one. And what we'll be putting into that, or I say things that does feels, right? We need to fill this one. So from the student point of view, right? I hope most of you would have seen it. You are, kids, those are going to schools, and nowadays it's not a probably problem in your home. But when you're sending your kids to your schools, they usually lost their pencil and rubber pen very often, right? So you can think of some fifth standard or sixth standard student, right, who is losing their pencil regularly. So from that, for that user, you're trying to help coming the solution to avoid this, problem. So, but for which you need to, collect the problem issues from that student point of view. So for which we need to create an empathy map. The empathy map is what is that user says, thinks, does, and feels. Like that, we try to create it. So what are the points we can add it over here from that student point of view? Can you say one or two things? Then we'll proceed to next one. I didn't want to take much time because already I need some more things to cover. So I'll take one or two answers from you, and then we can take it further. So from the if you are a sixth standard student, if you are losing a pencil, what you will feel, and what you will do in that case, and what you will say to your parent or your teacher, and what you will think when it is happening again. So you imagine you are a sixth standard student studying in a school, and you lost your pencil in a class. In your mathematical maths class is happening, you lost your pencil. And in that place, what you will feel, what you will think, and what you will say, and what you will do as a sixth standard student. Can you write or one or two statement and the same? Either you can speak or you can type in the chat window. Okay, already you started responding to that one. Okay, so I don't like lunchbox. Okay, generally you're making it. Okay, friend took it and I forgot. I don't. Okay, I might have kept on desk, fell below the desk. Okay, and does try to search it. Okay, does. So I don't like lunchbox thing. So what is that connection to this one? Lunchbox or a pencil box? Because your question is about losing the pencil, right? So I'll take it as a pencil box probably. Okay, I'll share my friend's pencil. Okay, that is your do. It does, right? Feels yes, you are upset. That is your feeling, right? So now this is way you will be trying to picturize that person's, and by using this, now you can imagine empathy on a relation will work very easily. Okay, that is where this is very important. So empathy on your relation, on your student, on your friend, on your someone very close to you, it will work very easily. But now you are working the third party, right? You need to visualize from the third party. You had no connection with that person, but now you got to bring the empathy. That's where it is, it's difficult in a product when you're designing it, thinking from that person who is not very close to you. Suppose if you have kind of a kindergarten kid in your home, you have a child who is studying 6th and 7th, and they also have the same problem. Then this empathy map you can fill it very fast. But if you are not having that experience, then you might speculate. You might be, assuming something, and then you'll be start writing. If you are speaking with that person, then by listening to that person, you can add it what. So here, this empathy map is created by discussing with that person who we are trying to solve the problem. So we listen to that person, then we fill it up. So I'm just giving a sample one. So how it can be, done like this. So we can prepare like this, a student point of view. Know what he might say. I don't know how I always lose my pencil, or can I borrow a pencil from the friend? All right, no, I will look for it later. So I will search it later like that. Or so why it is happening? His desk is very messy, or not sharing my pencil with him, so he will lose it. The other person will say, right? They won't ready to give the pencil because you might lose it again. So or unite from this thinking point of view. I wish this would have stopped happening. We might think in this way, right? I don't think it's my fault. So could be anything. When you are interacting with that person, you will be putting all this in the right bucket. Then we try to come with this right motor problem. So frustrating, feel disorganized, or motivation will go down, or you'll be you are when you are humiliated by your friends or teacher, then you have a different problem. And then you will be what you will do. So you will be asking your friends, and you'll borrow, and then you might search for it, and then you might find the pencil, right? So, or you might ask the other guy, did you saw my pencil, like that? So we can you can inquire, and then we can find it accordingly. So could be anything. So like this, we'll try to create this empathy map for the situation from that student point of view, or from the user point of view. So here, how we'll create. But the same way, if you are extending this, right, other situation. For example, we'll be preparing like this, putting all these points together. So in a dinner making process, a person is having a problem. Now Lauren is living with his friends together, and what are the challenges, what are the problem he is having, that person is having, and how that person can look for a solution for this kind of one. So we'll be preparing like this, the empathy map, the flow. So you can see here, I will starting right, who is Lauren? We give that information, 24 years old and a university graduate living with the roommates, right? Prepare dinner himself for 3 to 5 times per week. So either we give getting that information, who is Lauren, and then what has to be done. Second step. So needs to have a necessary groceries, chop vegetable, all the activity for that dinner making process. Everything, whatever you want, you'll be adding it over there by interacting with that person, not by assuming it. That's what very important. The empathy map is created by interacting with that person, and then we'll write what is that Lauren see in that place, right? So the friends, what the other friends are doing, are seeing how they are supporting or not supporting it, what is the fruit trend is going on in that particular room, especially, or in their workplace or in their society, and then the trend they try to follow it accordingly. Or what does that Lawrence say? All right, so from the interaction you got it, that I don't want to make dinner, but I should make dinner. All right, like that you'll get a lot of comments. So we'll be putting all that one by listening to that discussion. We can put it down what Lauren says about the situation, but and what she does by observing that or from that one what she is doing on at a daily basis. So how much time she's spending, or how she's picking the groceries, in which place you can save the time, or you can have that better point of a process you can follow it out. And then we try to collect, right, what does Lauren here. So don't shop with the plastic bags, trying to cook from home more. Then try to have other things like other points you can add it over there by discussing with the particular person. Okay, so how we are going to solve all this one, or your solution, you need to address these things. So the pains and gain. So the pain is a time management, because you need to cook, you have to clean, and then you got to chop vegetables, and you have to make it, and then within the budget, within right your hygiene, and then healthy product, everything you got to buy within your budget. That's is a pain point. Gain is you will be having the gain accordingly. What is that? You have your own cooking, so home cooked meals is there, and you are putting your innovation every day based on your time. You will be putting your different attempt on making different food item. Then you are engaging with your roommates accordingly, and then you can do your affordable meals accordingly based on the money you have. right? So all like this, the empathy map will try to create from the user point of view from top to bottom before we give a solution for that particular person. So when you are having this, right, big basket kind of one, when they are trying to provide a solution, they would have created this kind of empathy map for different situation. So if they want vegetables, are we able to deliver them quickly so that they can plan their cooking process accordingly. So nowadays we go and buy most of the vegetables from the shops, shops. But right, this in upcoming days, who knows? Probably if you order your vegetable in mobile phone, you will be getting delivered in half an hour in your home, right? By someone or by some app, could be anything. So when this is going to happen, then they will be collecting that empathy map from all users' point of view, from all age group, and then they'll try to come with it. What are the things they got to provide as a solution into that one? Okay, that is second one, empathy map. Then third one is your journey map. Journey map is right from the user, what is that entire journey. So if a school or a college they want to give a complete journey of a student, they want to track it, what they are doing or what. So for which you can collect that one and then we can propose a better solution. Or as an individual, you can have your own journey map, right? We can create our own journey map, right? Where we started and what we felt when you're studying in kindergarten, what was our aim to become, and then how it is slowly changed. Now what we turn into, like that also we can take as a journey. Or if you take any product, in what purpose they launched, and then how it is turned at the end, whether it is met all the users or not, like that we create that journey map or that product line. For example, if you take your Amazon or Flipkart, right, they will create a journey map. What is the journey map? You are selecting the item right from the list and then you are putting into shopping cart. After the shopping cart, you are pushing it one by one, right? So you have a multi-step process. What is a multi-step process? After pushing that in the shopping cart, you'll be saying, right, buy now, like that. You'll be having icon. By clicking it, it'll ask you to confirm which address, and then what is your payment model, and then how much money you are going to paying, whether you have a EMI or not. Like that, you have multiple steps, right? That is a journey. That is the user journey. So the user journey is visiting that website and then picking the item, going to the shopping cart, and then from shopping cart to payment. What is that? Whether that user is having in a smooth transition from one screen to another screen, right? Without wasting their time, without giving that frustration for them in choosing multiple things. It's giving the easy way, simple way, so that they can order it in a much faster. If you are not providing an easy way, then you might hate it. You might hate it. Like you can imagine your IRCTC journey map, that is starting from login to booking your ticket. What is the journey you are having? And then taking your Amazon or Flipkart, your journey map, like that if you take. So we can able to categorize it, right? If you take this particular one, this is from a single person's point of view. This map is created from a single person's point of view. Okay. That is Arjun is a person, right? So he is interested when he was in schools. He is interested in animated storybooks, and he is moving. So these are the motivation because he is. You can color you have mentioned, right? These are the motivation. This color is frustration, and these are the opportunities for development. Okay. So if you take in this one, Arjun looked forward for art and craft classes in school. In school, he took that one very often and curious, dismantle every object and pull it back. You can think of your son or daughter in this way if you want to take the journey map in this way. As an average student, not recognized in school, but he is not recognized because he is not a very good studious guy, as an average in scores. So as an individual, he might not be attracted by others. The teachers might ignore him because they are not interested on the other things, the storybook, all these things they are not interested like that. So now this person is presented his science project in an impressive way. So and then after 10th, he thought of path as now studying an exam. He changed in it. So you can see, right, we can take a journey map of a person wherever you see opportunity or frustration, it will be did accordingly. So he won prizes for a paper presentation. They were visually appealing. He was good in designing, so it was explained. So the point here is, right, your strength. If you know your strength, anyone can successful by knowing their strength. That is where this journey map is try to highlighting it. Whenever we try to employ in where we don't have strength, we will see the frustration over there. And when you try to improvise, when you want to come out of this comfort zone, then where you lead to the opportunities to learn more. So this is from the from a single student perspective. The same way you can have a journey map from the user perspective. For example, if you take this particular journey map, here they're trying to create a map. They are trying to create a app for the owners of dog owners to help them if say in US, in America, in foreign countries, there is a lot of rules and regulation. If you really want to have a pets in your home, you have to follow it everything. You can't violate just like that, like not like in our stray dogs what you see in our roadside. There is a lot of rules and regulation. You got to adhere to that one. So now if you are going to make a journey map, you will be having a story, right? User persona, you can see, right? User persona is created, right, for that person. He's having 2 dogs and demanding as a job as a working in a school teacher, and his spouse is working as a pediatric surgeon, is in a hospital. So in both shift night and day. So how they are going to take care of the dogs. And in that case, when they are going to a new place, what are the problem, what are the challenge they have. So that's where the journey map we create, from starting from that one. You can see, right? First major problem is finding the suitable park for the dog, right? You need to, so the emotion would be right rushed, because in the morning, if you are taking the dog, you need to find that park very fast, and then you need to, make it to that place. And preparing for the park, you can see, right, emotion level where that user emotion. For example, you can imagine yourself, you are going to your college every day. So right, getting ready in your home, and then a journey, travel to the college, then you reach the college, then you go to the department. Like that, if you pace in multiple pace, what is your emotion, right? When you're getting ready from your home, are you happy, are you rushed, are you are angry? You can follow your emotions accordingly. The same, right, that emotion is being collected again here. So excited or confused, travel to park, then arrive at park, enter the park, playing, leave park, then you travel home. So now when you are done with that one, we'll be happy. Okay, you are done with the task. The next job, you have to go on to prepare yourself to get ready for the job, like that. So that the emotion level will be captured for any product when you want to change it, when you want to have another product, and for which we'll be having a right questions to ask that user. So what are the thoughts that person is thinking at that stage, and what are that opportunity, how we can help as an app. When you're providing app, how we can help that person by recommending a park nearby, or is there how many parks are there in that location, and what time it is opening, and is that paid or it's a free. All the information if we provide, that is an opportunity for us to make a money for these kind of people. So this is how we collect sorry. Okay, so we prepare this journey map. So you can visualize like this for Amazon or Flipkart. When logging into that one, what are the stages the users are there, or to what stage people are leaving, right? And for example, they are putting that item into the cart, but that user is not proceeding further. They will track everything. That is where we have a data analytics, and then they might think, okay, is there any problem in our user interface, or is it very difficult for them to move forward? Like that, they try to get a lot of feedback you would have received, right? So through the feedback, they will understand, okay, what is something wrong, and they'll try to improvise it accordingly. So that is the next tool which will be out of your this empathy phase. Will be end up with this another one. So we have user persona, and then what is second one? We have empathy map, and then journey map. Then the fourth one is our user story or storyboard, and then prototypes accordingly. So we create the storyboard. Okay, if that user, what are that series of action he is doing, we create the storyboard, and accordingly we create the prototypes. Okay, when you click on this, what you should do, and what is the next page, like that we draw it on the multiple small screen. If it's a mobile phone, we'll take that sticky note, and then we draw that each page, each window, what it should like. Then we create a board, and then we try to explain, okay, what we are trying to accomplish on that particular screen. So that is that the next stage of waiting in there, collecting all the problem. What is the expected out of it? So if you take this one, we'll be creating a sample storyboard like this. This is a storyboard. The storyboard is right. There is one group of people, they want to create an app. They try to help people across the globe. So wherever there is a problem for any people on natural calamity, they have a lot of trouble, right? In that case, collecting money from other part of the world and then helping that person. You are trying to create an app in that way. So the person is hearing. You can see the storyboard is created for that one. The person is listening to the news in that channel, and they see that picture where other people are being affected with the rain or some natural calamity. Now this person want to be a hero for that people's life. Want to help them, right? Not sympathy. Sympathy is we want to go in the next level. With sympathy is we will be sorry, will be feel pity, or feel sorry for that person, but we won't go in the next one. But the next step is, right, okay, how we can support, how we can help that people to come out of the sorrow. If that person want to contribute some money, could be any money, then if there is a provision to providing it, that given now like that, if a screen is very simple and then to donate, then probably that will reach that other group, and then they also contributed something for that people to help, and then you will be satisfied with that one. This is what the storyboard. But how we are going to make it realizing? For example, in recent case, you would have known, right? There is a kit where that injection need to be injected. The rate of the injection was close to 16 crores, 16 crore or a crore rupee, and the people were contributed the money from each one pocket. And then it went to central government, where the GST itself took some crores additional for that particular medicine. And then people were requesting that union government to cancel that GST, and so that they can help that the small kids who is having that unique problem in a backbone, which that injection cost 16 crore. In 16 crore GST, it will take another 4 or 5 crores additionally. So then after many requests by many people, many level, then union government cancelled that GST for that medicine. Now they bought it like that. So if you see, right, after starting the storyboard, then we convert that into a the interface. How we can bring the interface wherever that problem comes in, that will highlight in the map which location is having the problem, and then you can see that icon, we say be a hero. So by seeing that word, kind of motivation word we say, but we are not saying that help. Instead of either be a hero, like kind of motivating that person like that, and then we give that right what you want to do, the options, then we design like this. So like this we create that storyboard, and then the corresponding prototype or the design. Then we go with a multiple round of interview that user sample users and to get their feeling. Will they intrigued on this particular design? Will they ready to contribute or help that particular person? So like this, all this journey starts with the empathy, right? When you are designing a product. So before we close it, I'll take another 10 minutes on giving some some solutions on it. So I'm going to show you some solutions. You have to tell me whether that empathy part is being added into that product or not. Okay, so hope you got some complete picture on this. So whatever we say, all our solutions, I'm going to show that you have to tell us whether that empathy is being adapted or implied there or not. So first one. So what is this? So what is this? A lens, yes. What lens it is? Yes, Professor Ekta. What lens it is?
Lens with the camera.
It's a hope it
Lens
is
with the
yeah, it's a lens. It's a Google lens, right? So you know that Google.
Google Lens.
Yes, Google Lens. So now this is that Google Lens launched in 2013. Now, what do you think? Is that empathy is addressed here or not in this one? From your point of view, it can be right or wrong. From your point of view. I'm saying that I'm not saying where you are using it. I'm saying it in this product, whether that empathy is being followed, empathy is applied in this product design or not.
Yes.
Okay, so saying yes. Is there any other option? Anybody saying no? Are there any other
Working towards solution, not only just having a sympathy that this person is having this problem, but actually they are working towards the solution to find the how to cure it.
No, Google Lens is having a different purpose actually. So on a Google Lens, if you take this, the basic question of empathy, if it has been addressed with the empathy, then everybody would have bought this lens now. But right, they launched this in 2013. after a lot of positive speculation, that is a lot of positive promotion, but no one is wearing or no one is buying it in the normal life. Actually, this Google Glass, what they planned after launch, it is a complete failure. Okay, was not that much attracted what they had before launching that product. And that you can take photos, you can send messages, and you can view other information on that small glass, which will be a crystal, and then it will zoom it, and instead of seeing your whatever you see in mobile phone or computer, all those things you can see it in that small screen without affecting your normal vision. This is what they designed, and you can when you're
Sir,
traveling.
in many movies also they like show such kinds of
Yes,
classes
yes.
wherein like certain like computerized controlled classes. In many movies also they had shown.
Yes, sir. But in the normal life, it is not. No one is, bought it actually, or it is not popular in it. It has been they stopped that completely. The reason is, they have a camera here, right? This camera, you have no idea whether they are capturing you or capturing something else. It is, privacy issue for others. And you can have to speak. If you give some instruction on this glass, it will work. When you are walking on the road, can you say, send Google Glass send a message? If you say like this, anyone can on the road can say that message, and then it will send a message to someone else. So it is not that much protected. So a lot of other problems there. So the empathy is not adapted from the user point of view. They never felt, okay, I need this product to solve my problem. So this particular device didn't help in that way. That's why, right? So if you know, this is a review command given by MIT on this Google Lens. So no one could understand why you had want to have this interface in a way normal social interaction. So as a human being, as a normal one, why you want it? Because I want to use my mobile phone. I need something, so I am using it. I'm buying it. I need my wristwatch for some reason, but why I have to buy this lens? From the user point of view, did they address some problem they had normally? No, they didn't address any of the problem. So they empathetically it failed. So that's the reason no one interested to buy this Google Glass right for their daily life. But many movies we have. But apart from that, they didn't want it because of various reasons. One of the reason is voicely activated. It's a privacy concern, right? So there is no specific need to use this particular glass. Right, so that is where that is an example. Now I'm going to another product. So I think just a minute. Okay, fine. I'll add other ones. Okay, since taking out of time, so let me change here itself. Fine. So now, what is this? Any idea? I think very few might hear about it or might be new to you. I'm just asking you, what is this? If you don't know, you can say don't know. Not a problem. Just I'm asking this question to you. What is this? Any idea? Any guesses? No one is giving any response on that. Any idea? Okay, baby, Harry. Okay, you are close to that one. I'm Ekta, Professor Ekta. Yes, it's close to that one. It's definitely is a baby related one only. Okay, but it's not a baby carrying back, but it is much more than that. Okay. So this is actually called Embrace Warmer. Okay, this is that product. Has been very common in African countries or poverty. Where that poverty is there, where they want to take care of their child. Where this has been promoted and been appreciated by most of the doctors. They are using it on the place. So this is as a problem for a postgraduate student in Stanford. Okay, they were given a task to create a new type of incubator for developing countries, right? Where the incubator is not easy for them, where that you have electricity, power issue, maintenance problem, all those problems, right? In those region, how you can create an incubator which is easy for those countries, right? That is the task given to a group of students. Okay, so they came with that idea, right? That is called Embrace Warmer. It has been used in most of those countries. If you want, you can search it and you will get more information, more interesting information about this. Okay, so they can't take this normal incubator in those places where portable issues and then other production cost, and then that you can't maintain it properly. So for this, they came with this kind of a design. This one, Embrace Warmer, it is come with an all possible solution, a small kind of incubator, right? And the infant can be safe in that in mother's house for a certain period of time without any much problem. So you can take it to some nearby hospital, and then after that you can take it forward. Until then, you can give some kind of safety for that kid. So it is a kind of portable incubator for that child. So this is been used in many remote villages in most of these African countries where it's been gifted by UN Council or many other non-profit organization. They are helping that one. So here we have empathy or not? Yes, this is where empathy is being applied here by feeling from that situation of that user. We know the target user and what are the problem they are facing, and they came with a solution to address it. Okay, so that's where this kind of product will be appreciable. There is many such products are there by understanding the problem and coming with a solution for it. Okay, so now do you know what is this?
Nano car, I guess. Yes, Tata Nano.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Yeah, no, sorry. So here nano car was one problem, right? It is not popular among the people because they missed one point. They promoted, but they didn't. They addressed one point. The people those are going to buy the car, if they have the Tata Nano car, it might be having kind of a negative impact. Like this person is poor, that is why they have a nano car. So that's kind of feeling will be created among the people. And for that, many people didn't go for nano car. They wanted a high-end car. So the nano car, they didn't address that particular part. Even if you buy this nano car, all the security, all the luxuries still you can enjoy it. And it is, when they promoting, right, advertisements also they promoted in targeting the upper or the middle class, right? Instead of that, even the high level people also will use that car if they promoted, if they brought in that way. This car would have been a hit in the market. So like that, right? They missed that point, and it is now in the empathetic point from the user. Same way, right? This one, there's a final piece from my side. This is an it's an MRI machine. When the kids are being entered into this MRI machine, they are afraid. They that complete AC round, and they have different feeling. They cried a lot, and this is real difficult for them to take that MRI scanning and all. So by applying this design thinking approach from the kids' point of view, it has been redesigned after this workshop designed by the IDU. So you can see this is how they redefined that room with a lot of cartoons, right? You can see here they have given this welcome to Pirate Island, like that they redesigned the entire thing from that fear. So they were kind of in a comic environment. These kids they enter into this kind of room in the hospital. They never afraid after that. So they were supporting and they were enjoying that as a different one. But when you are having this room like this in a more setup as an adult, we will understand that we will be silent and they will help. But in the comes to kids, they redesigned everything accordingly, right? Without affecting the normal functioning of that particular machine, they redesigned the room, and then it has been followed in many hospitals nowadays. In the kids area, they have brought in a lot of things to attract the kids. Otherwise, it will be difficult for them. So these are some examples where that empathy come into place. So this is that final piece from my side. Okay. So this is where we are, going to be, when you're giving the solutions, we try to do all these things, right? And then we come with a solution. So that's all from my end. I think already I'm running out of time as well. So if you have any questions, I can take one or two questions. Otherwise, we can round off here itself. Hope you had an interesting one, right? These are the reference. You can visit this ideo.com. That is right. They are the trendsetter on this area, design thinking. If you check with their books, their articles, you will be really impressed. The story of this ideo.com. Okay. So, Professor, any questions or?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, to what extent we can show empathy to any one person or anything?
It's already mentioned that, right? It is kind of relative. Even if you are sitting in a room, right, in a room where you try to give a solution for a group of people, means each person in the room will have a different level of empathy by default. As I already mentioned, that, right, empathy is built into every human being, but the level of empathy we are going to show based on that our experience, our childhood life, how much you had a support from your relative. Are you an orphan? Are your father, mother had a kind of couple happy couple, or all these things are drawing a line on everyone's life. So when you're sitting in the room, we try to complement each other. We try to ask question what other people are not asking, like that. So that's why it's a collaborative effort, not a single man effort, because everyone's having a different empathy level. So right, and when you're having the group discussion, we won't say this person is really good, this person bad. No, we don't judge like that. Instead of that, we try to ask the proper question. Right, sometime one person will come with a better question, another day another one will come with a better question. But the point here is, right, we try to think from the user point of view. So if we ask the right question to the user, he will be giving some answer. For that, we need to write it down or we need to note it down properly, so that we can get up. So there is no kind of a line or a kind of a scoring sheet on empathy. Even if you ask my empathy, it will differ from one day to another day. Today I may have more empathetic and tomorrow I may have different one, because of the other experience what I got. Suppose if I have a lot of stress and a lot of personal problem, and then when I walk into the road, then how much empathy I can show it other, it depends. So it's kind of relative measure only, we can say. Hope I answered the question, Professor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir,